Hello and welcome to Newsroom. We are coming to you live from our studios at the Platinum Place here in Accra. I am Nadima, Umar, Uthman. Coming up in this bulletin. Chief Justice Bafo rejects 7 petitions for removal of Electoral Commission Chair GHOne Mensah and her deputies from office. Also, Ghana Police Service arrests woman in connection with alleged theft of newborn at a Mamprobi polyclinic in Accra, as Gender Minister assures measures are being put in place to safeguard patients. Government announces payment of 10 billion cedis in interest obligations under the Domestic Debt Exchange Program. And later, Peasant Farmers Association demand urgent, well-funded interventions to boost irrigation, improve yields and reduce post-harvest losses following recent killing of Ghanaian tomato traders in Burkina Faso. And on the international front, Nigeria issues warning over illegal recruitment of its citizens for Russia's war in Ukraine. We have details of these and many more, including sports and entertainment. Stay with us. Many thanks for your company once again. Remember, you can also watch this bulletin live on all our social media platforms at GHOne TV. Now, to some news just coming in, the Chief Justice, Paul Bafo, has determined that there is no prima facie case to warrant further investigations into petitions seeking the removal of the Electoral Commissioner, her deputies, and the Special Prosecutor. According to a statement issued by the presidency earlier today, President John Dramani Mahama referred 7 petitions calling for the removal of the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, GHOne Mensah, and her deputies, as well as 3 separate petitions seeking the removal of the Special Prosecutor to the Chief Justice for a determination. The referral was made in accordance with Article 146 of the 1992 Constitution and Section 15 of the Office of the Special Prosecutor Act to ascertain whether the petitions disclose a prima facie case. The petitions were referred to the Chief Justice on November 25, 2025. But after reviewing the petitions, the Chief Justice determined that no prima facie case existed to justify further investigation or the establishment of a formal inquiry committee. This constitutional threshold must be met before a 5-member tribunal can be constituted to investigate allegations of stated misbehavior, incompetence, or incapacity, the only grounds on which such office holders can be removed. Let's break this down for you. Ibrahim Alasan is head of political desk here at AIB Network and joins me for a further conversation on this very new development. Ibrahim, many thanks for joining us. For our viewers, essentially, what does this mean?
Well, so Madam GHOne Mensah remains the chairperson of the Electoral Commission. Her 2 deputies who were named in the petitions also remain in office. Now, Kisia Jabin, the special prosecutor, equally remains the special prosecutor until otherwise determined. And what do I mean by otherwise determined? It will have to take some other petitions as well, forwarded to the president according to Article 146. The president then ferries the petitions again to the Chief Justice. The Chief Justice then peruses the petition to make a determination as to whether there are merits in the petitions. In this case, the Chief Justice has determined that all the petitions, in fact, 10 petitions were ferried to the Chief Justice.
Right.
3 against the Special Prosecutor, Kisia Jaben, 7 against the EC Chairperson and her 2 deputies. After going through, and mind you, this was not done by any committee.
Right.
Per Article 146, this is the work reserved for the Chief Justice. And so after the Chief Justice perused these petitions and matched them against the allegations of bias, incompetence, gross incompetence, and many others. In fact, specifically on the EC, the petitions came from 7 individuals I mentioned, including a former staff, a former worker of the Electoral Commission, equally petitioned and alleged bias, gross incompetence, among many other claims. The Chief Justice then matched these claims against the evidence adduced in the petition and came to the firm conclusion that it doesn't warrant any further action. I'll come and explain what the further action will have meant. It means that the Chief Justice says GHOne Mensah and Kisia Jaben, together with GHOne Mensah's other 2 deputies, have no further questions to answer in person. And so the conclusion is that there is no prima facie case against the individuals cited in the petitions. So that will be the recommendation from the Chief Justice to the President.
For the layman listening, we're hearing in the statement we read a lot of prima facie. What do we mean? So
first of all, allegations were made against these individuals. 4 of them to be specific. GHOne Mensah, her 2 deputies, and Kisia Jaben. Now, the Chief Justice looked at the allegations made against them and then matched them against the evidence cited in the petitions. And so he came to the firm conclusion that, unlike Araba Esaba Tokono, in whose case the Council of State found prima facie case against her, which then meant that she had questions to answer. So prima facie simply means that based on claims made against you,
right,
and looking at the face value of the evidence sent through the petition, we think you should answer further questions. Fortunately for these 4 individuals, the Chief Justice says there's no need for them to answer any further question because the claims hold no value.
Right.
Now, if the Chief Justice had determined otherwise, then per Article 146, the Chief Justice will have had to set up a committee. And the committee will have invited these individuals for them to appear physically, in person to answer questions. After that, a recommendation will be made. And once the recommendation is ferried to the President will have to implement the recommendation. This happened to Charlotte Osei, where the recommendation was for her removal. And President Akufo-Addo went ahead to remove Charlotte Osei as chairperson of the Electoral Commission. I've been reading around, many people saying that it's the President that has dismissed the petition. Yes, but it's based on the advice of the Chief Justice, who says there are no further questions to be answered.
And that brings me to my very last question. Does this end the matter?
Yes, it does. Unless another person, another group of people, or another entity decides to send petitions to the President against these same individuals under Article 146. For now, they have been given clean bill of health to continue to discharge their constitutional duties.
Good news for the Electoral Commission Chair and also the Special Prosecutor.
Yes.
As always, grateful that you could join us in studio. That was our Head of Political Desk, Ibrahim Alassane, giving us a breakdown of the news that just came in, that the Chief Justice has dismissed the petitions that were presented to him against the EC Chair and the Special Prosecutor. Let's move on and do some other stories, as the Ghana Police Service has apprehended a woman over the alleged theft of a newborn baby from the Mamprobi Polyclinic in Accra, with the baby successfully rescued. The incident reportedly took place on February 17, 2026, shortly after the child's mother had delivered through a cesarean section. The newborn was allegedly taken from the facility, causing alarm among healthcare workers and the patients. Surveillance footage from the clinic showed that the suspect carrying the baby and exiting the premises. The video has since been widely shared on social media. Now, the video that was recorded, earlier this morning, the gender minister, the Minister for Gender and Social Protection, says the infant. I beg your pardon. The Minister for Gender and Social Protection has been speaking to my colleague Evelyn Araba Edu. Let's listen to that.
We found the baby. We want to say a big thank you to the whistleblower. We also want to say a big thank you to the police that they've been able to work to get the baby reconciled to the mother or united with the mother. Today, as we speak this morning, the police can attest that yes, that is the baby. The parents have confirmed, and then the suspect is in the custody of the police. I want to thank my colleagues in Parliament, Honorable Oko Vandakoy, and then Reverend Kweku Adu, for their cooperation. I mean, when I called them early this morning, they've all been here and they've been on the case as well, and we've been able to make an inroad into the case, and we are going to follow to make sure that baby, mother, and then everybody is safe. And then the suspects as well also need some interrogation and then some support, and our social workers will also be on the case to make sure that we minimize or completely get rid of such baby cases or incidents in the hospitals. So this is where we are. The baby and the mother have been taken for medical attention, and so we'll follow up and see what happens next. Thank you.
This incident has certainly generated a lot of conversation on social media. Nana Ama Akwa is on standby to bring us your thoughts and comments on this.
Well, Nadima, I don't know if you can say it's brought finality to a very terrible situation, but at least some good news has come out of it. We hear from Kojoteria, but how could the staff be so careless? We thank God. Then Enoch says this is not the only good news. Ghana Police Service need to investigate and arrest the rest, because I don't think it's only the woman who planned it. Okay, then we move over to Facebook. Ekia, if I tell you I slept last night here, then I'm lying. My dream is as if the baby was mine. I mean, if you're a woman, well. Archibald says it's glorious. God bless all who helped bring the boy back to his parents. Justice says not only the woman must be held accountable, but the staff on duty as well. We also have Eva Erabana. We thank God the baby is found, but they should run tests and examine the baby very well before they hand it over to the family, because we don't know what she did to the baby overnight before bringing him back. Adam Mohammed, wow, IGP, your guys are working like magic. We also have Aguaji. My concern is about those involved in the crime. Dente says all the nurses on duty must be sacked. You also have Jacobs. You go to hospital and you see nurses using phones around just like that. Hetty says, very good. Social media is very powerful, which it is indeed. Some people's own lost like that. Ghana Police, this is how we want it in this town. And this is what you have to tell us. We thank God that the baby has been found. And let's hope that all of the accomplices, if there are any, that were with the woman will also be arrested and dealt with according to the law. My name is Nanama Akwa. Continue to send us your messages on Instagram, Facebook, and on X. Nadima, back over to you.
For bringing us those thoughts and comments from our social media platforms. Now, a day-old baby girl has been rescued after she was abandoned in a bush at Bima Estate near Elmina in the Komenda Edina Iguafo Ibrahim municipality. The infant was discovered around 4:30 p.m. on Tuesday, February 17, 2026, by a farmer who had gone to gather feed for his animals. He initially mistook the sound for that of an animal, but was shocked to find the newborn wrapped in cloth and placed in a polythene bag. He quickly alerted residents who helped rush the baby to the hospital for further treatment. Medical staff say the infant is in stable condition. The Social Welfare Department has taken custody of the child, while police have also launched investigations into the incident. You're still watching Newsroom Live on GHOne TV. I am Nadima Umar Uthman. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Prosecutors representing the Attorney General have filed an affidavit in opposition to challenge former National Deputy Executive Director of the National Service Authority, Gifty Mensah, who is seeking a stay of proceedings in her ongoing trial. In the application for stay of proceedings that was filed on February 10, 2026, the accused person wants the High Court to halt her trial over the National Service ghost names charges as she challenges an order of the court for her to file a list of names and addresses of her witnesses. Relying on provisions in the Practice Direction on Disclosures and Case Management Conference, the court ordered her to submit a list of names and addresses of her witnesses. She contended that those provisions that allow the judge to make such orders are inconsistent with provisions in the 1992 Constitution, specifically Article 19, Section 2C, and wanted a referral to the Supreme Court for interpretation. But the request has been dismissed as the court was of the view that no issue had risen for a referral to the Supreme Court. In some more stories, government has announced the payment of 10 billion cedis in interest obligations under the Domestic Debt Exchange Program. In a statement issued today, the Ministry of Finance described the settlement as the sixth coupon payment under the program and the second time government has made a full cash payment without any in-kind component. According to the ministry, the payments cover cedi-denominated coupon obligations in line with the debt restructuring agreement and government's broader fiscal consolidation strategy. The ministry adds that the payment sends a strong positive signal to both domestic and international investors, reinforces market confidence, and is expected to support Ghana's credit outlook. It further notes that the development will enhance stability within the financial sector, particularly for banks and pension funds holding the DDEP instruments. A while longer and engage Dr. Said Boachi, who is a senior fellow at IFS. Many thanks for joining us, Doc. First of all, how significant is this development that government makes such a huge payment in the DDEP?
It is quite significant because before the DDEP, we were cash strapped and virtually we are unable to service our debt. So if after the DDEP, debt payment has eased, and for that matter, the government has been able to find some money to pay for it, it is good news.
Right. Now government has made this cash payments for the first time without payments in kind component. What does this signal about Ghana's liquidity position?
For now, things have improved. In fact, debt service payments stood at around 55% in 2021, 2022. Now it is to around 24%, more than production, and because of the DDEP. And the system is a lot. And for that matter, it is good that the government has been able to do all these things.
You mentioned this, or you described this payment as a significant step. Does this also help Ghana in terms of our credit outlook?
Oh, sure. For now, it does. But we are not out of the rules yet. I must be frank. Because, debt service payment that was brought down to 24.7% in 2023 has begun to pick up, of course, with all these payments being made. And so, for now, yes, it is going to improve our credit outlook. But, I appeal to the government to take things easy because, debt service payment has begun to pick up again.
Right. Grateful that you could engage us. That was Dr. Saeed Boache, who is a senior fellow at IFS. He was just describing the payments by government, the 10 billion payments by government on the DDEP as a significant milestone. He also said that this does not in any way signify that Ghana is out of the woods yet and that more needs to be done. But in some more stories, media personality and founder of Women of Valor, Nadima Anamwa, is calling on the media to stop shifting blame onto victims of abuse. Speaking at the launch of Women of Valor 2026, she condemned a session of the media for what she describes as shaming victims instead of exposing perpetrators. Her comments follow the case of a Russian national accused of secretly filming Ghanaian women and sharing the videos on social media and adult websites for profit. Nadima Anamwa emphasized that the way such stories are framed in Ghana's media landscape often protects offenders while deepening the trauma of victims.
Must confront one uncomfortable truth, that in our media landscape, sometimes, the way our stories are told tends to shame the victims instead of exposing the crime. The words we use, the tone we take, the questions we ask, even the way stories are introduced on our major bulletins is problematic because it quietly shifts blame onto the person who has suffered harm. When victims feel judged, when victims feel exposed, they cower, they withdraw, they fail to speak. And when women stop speaking, predators walk free. And that has to change. This is why language and responsibility has become very important, and we need to take it seriously. Our landscape as a media has evolved, yet sometimes we tend to forget the power we wield. The power to protect dignity or destroy it. The power to encourage justice or deepen silence. And as a responsible institution, we must always choose the former.
Now, US-based Ghanaian doctor and politician Arthur Kennedy has reiterated the duty of hospitals to stabilize emergency patients before any transfer, describing it as unacceptable for accident victims to be turned away after being transported by emergency teams. He further warned that Ghana's no-bed syndrome has become so entrenched as now appears to be part of the healthcare system. His comment follows the death of 29-year-old engineer Charles Emisa, who was reportedly denied admission by 3 major hospitals in Accra for nearly 3 hours after a hit-and-run accident, despite being stabilized by ambulance personnel.
Are we getting it wrong is the system that we are practicing? Because honestly, between the two of us, you don't even need to have beds for admission in order to stabilize an emergency patient. We do stabilization even in the field. So theoretically, as long as the person is on a trolley, or you can even lie them on the ground, you can provide some emergency care. To be fair, I'm sure that it is not the fault of the healthcare personnel, but I'm just saying that it is unacceptable that the patient who has been injured can get to Kolebu Hospital or Ridge Hospital alive and not be saved. I mean, we won't, of course, be able to save everybody, but once the person gets to the premises, they should be attended to. The irony is that once he died, a doctor came out to pronounce him dead. That really should engage all of us. It is unacceptable. And as we can see, this is not just happening to lay people. I referenced the MP who died from Akwetia. I referenced the doctor from Komfanoche. And years ago, Pakwesi Misata, who had an emergency like that, and we were not able to save him. PV Obeng had an emergency beside the road. So obviously, this is systemic, and I am gratified that when I drew it to the attention of the Speaker of Parliament, he said they will look into it. But my fellow Ghanaians, let's just not look into it. Let's do something about it, because obviously, if the previous occasions we had done something instead of just looking into it, maybe this latest young 29-year-old engineer will still be alive.
Police Command has recorded a major breakthrough in its sustained fight against armed robbery and organized crime. Acting on credible intelligence, the command successfully foiled a planned attack on traders and recovered 5 assault weapons and a large cache of arms and ammunition.
The feat was chalked on February 11, 2026, when police intelligence picked up information that an armed gang was planning to attack traders traveling along the Doma-Gonokrom highway. Surveillance teams were immediately deployed to the area to prevent the intended robbery. In the early hours of February 12, the officers came under gunfire from suspects hiding in nearby bushes. The police returned fire. A search later in the area led to the discovery of one male suspect believed to be a member of the gang, found dead with an AK-47 rifle beside him. A further search of the area uncovered several items, including firearms, ammunition, a dagger, a mobile phone, a motorbike, a black mask, and talisman, believed to be used by the gang.
The Bono Regional Police Command assured the public that efforts are ongoing to identify the remaining gang members and to bring them to face justice.
The body of the deceased suspect has been deposited at the police hospital morgue for preservation, identification, and autopsy. The Regional Police Commander, DCOP Copson, further assured residents of a sustained effort to make the roads safe.
The command also calls on all to assist the police with credible information that will lead to the arrest of persons involved in criminal activities as we continue to work tirelessly to enhance safety and security across the region.
The commander says it remains committed to clamping down on armed robbery and organized crimes to ensure the safety of lives and property in the Bono region.
The Bono East Regional Police Command has returned a bag containing 85,000 cedis to its rightful owner after it was found abandoned along a major highway. The incident stands as a testament to the professionalism, integrity, and public trust that defines the Ghana Police Service.
The Bono East Regional Police Command has commended officers stationed at the police snap checkpoint on the Techima and Kumasi Highway for their exemplary conduct after a bag containing a large sum of money was found and safely returned to its owner. On February 14, 2023, at about 4:20 a.m., officers on duty spotted a bag lying by the roadside, believed to have fallen from a moving vehicle. The bag bore the name of Ori and a contact number. Led by Inspector George Appiah, the officers retrieved the bag and discovered it contained a substantial amount of cash. In line of police procedure, the The item was promptly handed over to the Regional Command for Investigation. The contact number was later called, and 53-year-old businessman Stephen Opori from Ashtown in Kumasi later reported to claim ownership. He explained that the money, 85,000 cedis, was being transported from GCB Bank in Wa to Kumasi aboard a commercial vehicle. After thorough verification and confirmation of ownership, the cash was counted in presence of the claimant and officially released to him. The police command has praised both officers involved and members of the public, describing the incident as a reflection of professionalism, integrity, and public cooperation. The Ghana Police Service says it remains committed to upholding trust, accountability, and service to the people.
Ghana is mourning following the death of Peter Tasiri Azongo, a former army sergeant whose name is forever etched in the country's political and military history. The ex-serviceman, widely acknowledged as a key strategist behind the historic June 4, 1979 revolution, passed away peacefully at the age of 79 in Posiga. His death marks the end of an era and the quiet departure of a man whose actions reshaped the course of Ghana's governance.
At dawn on May 15, 1979, a young Air Force pilot by name GHOne Rollins stormed Ghana's military barracks with a pistol and a handful of loyal men. His mission: overthrow the corrupt regime bleeding the country dry. It failed. He was captured, dragged before a military tribunal, and sentenced to death. 3 weeks later, on June 4, 1979, junior soldiers who heard that speech broke him out of jail. By sunrise, Rollins was on a national radio. By sunset, he was head of state. Key among the loyal and patriotic soldiers who facilitated Flight Lieutenant GHOne Rollins' breakaway from prison where he was being held following a failed coup attempt on May 15, 1979 was ex-Sergeant Peter Tasiri Azongo. He was more than a soldier. He was described as a central figure in Ghana's 1979 June 4 revolution. To many, he was a fearless patriot driven by conviction, discipline, and an unshakable belief in accountability and national renewal. As a central planner of the uprising that toppled the Supreme Military Council, Azongo played a defining role at a critical moment in Ghana's history, one that continues to spark debate, reflection, and learning decades later. Ex-Sergeant Peter Tasiri Azongo passed away aged 79 at Pusiga in the Upper East region on Sunday, February 15, 2026.
It is with a deep sorrow and profound sadness that we announce to the general public the passing of our beloved father, retired Sergeant Peter Tasiri Azongo, who once served as the member of the Ghana Armed Force and a member of the Armed Force Revolutionary Council, AFRC. After a life dedicated to service, discipline, and commitment to his country, he served the nation with courage and honor during his time in the military and remained a man of strength, integrity, and wisdom throughout his life.
Spokesperson William Agonyini called for privacy as the family comes to terms with the loss. His son, Titus Tasiri Azongo, echoed that sentiment, remembering his father as a disciplined and hard-working man whose life was guided by service and respect for others.
He was not only a soldier of the Republic of Ghana, but also a devoted father, grandfather, mentor, and friend, whose guidance and presence will be deeply missed by his family, colleagues, and all who had privilege to knowing him. We respectfully ask for privacy during this difficult time as we mourn this great loss.
The body of ex-Sergeant Peter Tasiri Azongo has since been conveyed to the Bolgatanga Regional Hospital for preservation as the family awaits an official communique from the state.
He's someone who wants justice. He's a disciplined man. If you're a child, you must follow instructions. That's another thing I love about him. He loves work hard. He's hard working. If you're a child and you are lazy, you can't stay with him. We have lost a great man. We missed him a lot.
Plans are underway for a state burial in recognition of his role in Ghana's national story. As Ghana reflects on his life, one truth remains clear. Peter Tassiri Azongo lived and died, woven into the fabric of the nation's history.
Some more stories. Member of Parliament for Ketu North, Eric Edem Admana, is urging school authorities nationwide to tighten discipline in schools. He says rising in discipline among students is alarming and must be tackled urgently, stressing that academic success must go hand in hand with strong moral values. The Member of Parliament made the call at the induction of the Peki Senior High School All Students Association's new national executives in Accra.
Some participants at the induction ceremony of the Peki Secondary School All Students Association's newly elected national executives in Accra, Ketu North MP Eric Edem Agbana expressed worry over the growing misuse of mobile applications by students for non-educational activities, including hookah practices, describing the trend as disturbing. The lawmaker is therefore calling on school authorities and stakeholders to intensify efforts at instilling discipline to safeguard the integrity of the country's education system.
And the biggest challenge we have, especially with schools within our region, is the issue of indiscipline. Students smoking in the bush. In fact, there are some schools, including one in my constituency, where some of the girls were caught doing hookup. Discipline in our institution. If you're able to check the level of indiscipline and you put them, there's no way the school will not perform and perform well. Let's take advantage of the digital opportunities that the digital era presents, and let's invest in improving the quality of education in the school.
Guest of honor, Professor Eric Daniel Ananga, added his voice to the call for improvement in education.
Let's consider this critically. There are a lot of our types currently in the school, in the classrooms learning. We shouldn't just use the association and alumni for occasional annual visit and donate things and that. And it's good when we come together. We should be thinking of how we can connect the school to the world of work.
President of the Peki Senior High School All Students Association, PESCOSA, and the Chief Executive Officer of Davida Roofing, David Kwame Aziago, says the newly inducted committee will reposition and promote the growth of PESCOSA to greater heights.
This is not just an event, it's a movement that we are calling on each and every year group. It's not time to sit back, it is time for us all to come forward to support this association, PESCOSA, and also to be the backbone of our alma mater. You know, a lot of work have already started on the side. We have started contacting the various year groups to see how we can put them together. We have also started some works around the 70th anniversary celebration.
Stakeholders in education are encouraged to help instill discipline in students in second cycle institutions towards national development.
Let's bring you some business updates now.
The Business Brief is brought to you by CompuGhana, passion for technology.
Constance Nyako, popularly known in Koforidua as Yaya, has confirmed her death following last Saturday's deadly terrorist attack in northern Burkina Faso. Yaya, a well-known tomato trader in Koforidua, was among a group of Guinean traders attacked by suspected Islamist insurgents while traveling in the troubled northern part of the country. A sister who was among the two survivors and is in critical condition was airlifted to 37 Military Hospital last night, has reportedly confirmed to the family that Yaya was shot multiple times and burnt to ashes while hiding in their truck. There's more in this report.
According to the family, Yaya's injured sister, Eura Efia, who was airlifted alongside another survivor to 37 Military Hospital in Accra on Tuesday night, recounted the horrifying ordeal. She confirmed that she, Yaya, and their driver attempted to hide inside their truck when the attackers struck. However, the gunmen reportedly fired multiple times into the vehicle before setting it ablaze. The injured sister managed to escape despite sustaining gunshot wounds and severe burns. Yaya, however, was said to have been burnt beyond recognition.
In the second one, so picture by na is a sister at the hospital, and the chin na ashishi. It's here the need be say na minua Yaya no so over him. Ni no kura na ewu. Inti kopim say sister, according to Mrs. Tankasa, it's me kasa no say sister no 37 say me kasa. A friend refu. Ono no ka say Yaya ashi. Washi saying, they say, in Crofona bar almost so attacking, Mugani ko shekani. Because of some way, our whole Mukite common company mentino. Now, so be etite. In Simema or the Omukumina and a car man. It's also so driver no name is no more shekani, no Crofonica so mumpi. No more driver no me. No more fire driver no working. Say no name two a car Yaya, it become Mrs. Na car no mudi jani two muno. And the mammy sister, or no enwy anything, or they are prepare a ball glass and a refuano, a ball glass in PA to pay a chin in Ashishi.
Kofi, a brother to Yaya and a refia, both victims of the attack, said the family is devastated by confirmation of her passing. On Wednesday, the family house in Kofredias Rodai was flooded with sympathizers following confirmation of her death. Yajewa, mother of the deceased trader, described her daughter as the family breadwinner and expressed deep sorrow over the loss.
Microphone on my high you. Microphone on my high. I'm a Habusiano, papa. I'm a Habusiano.
So far, about 8 Ghanaian traders, drivers and laborers are reported to have died in the attack. Reports indicate that the terrorists separated men from women before opening fire on the group. Out of 18 traders involved, 7 were killed instantly. 3 men and a woman sustained injuries. 7 other women escaped unhurt. The deceased were buried in Burkina Faso on Monday, while the surviving female traders remain hospitalized at the 37 military hospital. Others are also en route through the Burkina Faso and Ghana border. For GHOne TV and Star FM, Kudransa, Kofredia.
In relation to this sad development, the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana have expressed deep concern over the recent killing of Ghanaian tomato traders in Burkina Faso, describing the incident as both a human tragedy and a threat to Ghana's food security. According to the association, Ghana relies heavily on tomato imports from Burkina Faso, and the disruption is likely to cause a sharp increase in prices. The group says Ghana spends over $22 million annually on tomato imports, despite having the capacity to produce enough locally. The association is calling for urgent, well-funded interventions to boost irrigation, improve yields, and reduce post-harvest losses. The association also believes that Ghana can significantly cut vegetable imports by 2030 and achieve full tomato self-sufficiency by 2036. Now engage the Executive Director of the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana, Bismarck Norte, who joins us via Zoom. Bismarck, many thanks for joining us. Is it not too early to preempt that prices of tomatoes can surge due to the unfortunate incident that happened?
Well, thank you very much. Let me say a good afternoon to your viewers. let me also use the opportunity to express our condolences to the bereaved families whose relatives suffered that fate. I wouldn't say it's too early because if you watch our planting cycle, normally at this time of the year, a lot of the tomatoes that you see on the market to consume are not tomatoes from Ghana. Most of them are tomatoes that are coming from Burkina Faso, which our release indicated that we import over 90% from that particular part of the continent. So what it means is that more of what we consume or what we have in the market are not primarily produced in Ghana.
Right.
So if there is an attack on traders who normally go and bring these tomatoes, and based on this incident, the likelihood that you might have others going will be low. The incentive to have others to risk their lives to go and bring these tomatoes will be quite low. So we foresee that this might lead to some shortages, and that might drive the price of tomatoes up, unless we get to the production cycle in Ghana where we start producing tomatoes where the price might come down again. And that's why we are calling for the fact that it appears that the fact that we rely so much on climate for our production in tomatoes is a major being that as a country we need to move away from. What is helping Burkina Faso do this all year round tomatoes, apart from the variety, apart from their climate, is the fact that they have put in place a very comprehensive irrigation system that ensures that all year round they are producing. So even in very extreme conditions, they still produce a lot even for their own sale, even to export. But unfortunately, when it comes to Ghana, the situation is different. The available irrigation that we are just doing less than 10% of our irrigation potential. If you pick just a few spots where they have irrigation facilities, a lot of the country we just rely on rain. So during the dry season, now it doesn't go on, and we need to rely on old production. So I think that this incident is a wake-up call, very unfortunate, but it's quite a wake-up call for us. And if you don't put systems in place, what happens where in the next few days or few months, the security situation in the sub-region deteriorates to the extent that traders can't travel? What happens to us? Does it mean that we can't consume tomatoes or even onions? I think that this should give us a wake-up call for us to put in place structures to ensure that this doesn't happen again.
Right. Bismarck, I'm grateful that you could join us. He is the Executive Director of the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana. But we're still staying on this and engaging a security analyst, Emmanuel Coutin. Emmanuel, many thanks for joining us. We know that a travel advisory has been issued, but from a security perspective, what more can government do?
Well, thank you for having me. And many good afternoon to you, cherished listeners. In fact, I think the travel advice government issued is quite belated. That's what they should have been doing in the first place. And it is not secret that because that part of Burkina Faso has been engulfed with extremist group. So more or less what government should have done and what I will propose now is to kind of have a special arrangement with the Burkinabe government, like that they can give escort to our business people who traverse that road. Because if you look at Burkina Faso government, when U.S. landlord, when they come for essential produce through our ports, they give military escort to such convoys. So how is it different from our business people who are doing everything in their capacity to sustain security in this country? Just imagine that there's shortage of tomatoes or onions in Ghana, that upheavals that will happen in this country.
Absolutely.
So in the longer term, I think apart from what I propose, which is the immediate step government should do, government should look at reviving the Palugu Dam and resuscitate the Palugu Tomatoes factory. At best,
they should have an alternative by digging a dam to harvest the spillage of water from the battery dam, which has been a seasonal challenge for our farmers in the eastern corridor. And that dam can have dual purposes. We can have irrigation throughout the year. And you know, technology abounds. There's so much sunshine in the north.
Right.
You can use solar, you can use the dam in dike, and at the same time, you can use the dam to generate electricity for the northern part of the country. If you look at the focus of this government, they are looking at industrialization. And one of the key ingredients of industrialization is what? Stable power.
Right.
So I think government have to exploit some of these things. And I want to place on record that what happened was quite circumstantial. They were just victims in the spur of the moment, because many of these attacks happen in that part of the country, except that it goes unreported because Ghanaians or other citizens are not involved. So we say in text, I think that government will have to use its goodwill with the Burkinabe government, given that we even have an envoy to the Sahel region.
Right.
So in ECOWAS as a regional bloc must use the goodwill our president have with this Sahelian state to bring the Sahelian state back to the ECOWAS bloc. Then we can give proper meaning to the ECOWAS counter-terrorism strategy implementation plan.
Right, Emmanuel, I'm grateful that you could join us. That was Emmanuel Kuting, who has given us his security perspective on the very sad development that happened in Burkina Faso involving Ghanaian tomato traders. But that does it for business. Let's do sports now.
The Business Brief was brought to you by CompuGhana, passion for technology.
And you're welcome to sports, where the GFA has confirmed that Ghana will play against Mexico international friendly as part of preparations for the upcoming FIFA World Cup to be held in USA, Mexico, and Canada. The fixture is now the third confirmed warm-up match for Otoado's side ahead of the tournament in June. Ghana will play two friendly games against Austria and Germany in March, with Mexico clash adding another important test as the team fan chooses preparations for the global showpiece. So Ghana, the friendly presenter used full dress rehearsal ahead of the Group L opener against Panama, who share a similar regional football profile to that of Mexico. The Stars take on Panama on June 17 in Toronto before taking on England and Croatia in the remaining group matches at the World Cup. The match scheduled for Friday, May 22, at the yet to be announced venue in Mexico. To the UEFA Champions League now, where Vinicius Junior scored a brilliant winner for Madrid against Benfica in a first leg of the Champions League playoff, which was halted for 10 minutes due to alleged racial abuse. The Brazil forward put the visitors ahead in the 50th minute with a wonderful curling strike past Anatoly Trubin at the Estadio de la Luz. Vinicius was then booked for an excessive celebration, and following a heated exchange with the Benfica Gianluca Prestiani, who he ran over to the referee, that's referee De Tessier, as he gestured in the direction of the Argentine winger, indicating that he had been abused racially by the player. The player walked off, and for 10 minutes the game was halted. Now, Benfica manager Jose Mourinho was shown 2 yellow cards in the 85th minute and will be missing from the dugout in the next fixture next Wednesday at the Estadio Bernabeu. To the other results of the night in the Champions League, Galatasaray beat Juventus 5-2. Dortmund also won 2-0 against their opponent Atlanta, whilst PSG won away from home by 3-2 against AS Monaco last night in the UEFA Champions League. To Africa now, record 12-time champions Ali of Egypt will face Esperance Sportive de Tunis of Tunisia in the heavyweight North African quarterfinal clash in the CAF Champions League. Now, following the last 8 draw conducted in Cairo last night, Ali will travel to Tunisia to face Esperance in the first leg of the clash before the return match in Cairo. Defending champions Pyramids FC of Egypt will also be in action as they take on Moroccan side AS FAR. Last season's losing finalists Sundowns of South Africa will be at home to Stade Malien of Mali in a first retire, whilst RS Berkane of Morocco will host Al Hilal of Sudan in a first match as well, in a draw held last night in Cairo for the CAF Champions League. And that's it for sports. Up next, though, is GHOne.
In an interview early on GA today, Celestine Donko said this year's event will be offered free of charge as a heartfelt appreciation to fans for their steadfast support throughout her 2-decade journey. Celestine emphasized that the core of the celebration remains purely worship and heartfelt praise.
This year, 6th of March, where are we holding it? What are we expecting? 20 years?
We are doing it at Victory Bible Church as usual. The time is 3:55 p.m.
3:55? That's very significant.
Meaning that there's no room for lateness. And also this year, because of the love my fans, my followers, my supporters have given me, I have decided to do this year's Celestial Praise for free. Yes, and so...
Organization of... Wow.
Yes, it's for free, and you don't have to pay anything. And that is the more reason why you should come early, because when
then the gates are open for everybody.
Yeah, and when it's free, a lot of people come, so you will not struggle to get a place. We've made arrangements for overflow and all that, but try and come early so that you can enjoy. I'm not doing this alone.
Okay.
I have some of my amazing colleagues, PSA Esther, Kofi Osu Pepra, Kwekute, and Kalato. You know, and that there are more who are really excited to celebrate with me on this 20 years journey. And I also have my international friends, Evelyn Wanjiru from Kenya, Tembalami from Zimbabwe, and Zaza Moteki from South Africa. They're all coming, and we are going to have a beautiful time.
Bring you international news now. Foreign Ministry in a statement has expressed grave concern over the rising and alarming cases of Nigerian citizens being illegally recruited to participate in foreign armed conflicts. A report indicates that at least 36 Nigerians have been recruited by the Russian army to fight in Ukraine, 5 of whom have been killed in combat. According to the ministry, several Nigerians who have fallen victim to such unfortunate situations were deployed to combat zones after being misled and coerced into signing military service contracts. And that's how we wrap up this edition of Newsroom Live on GHOne TV. I am Nadima Umar Uthman, but you can log on to starfm.com.gh for more news. Good afternoon.